Good evening, everybody, and happy spring! Yes, spring has sprung. The weather is gorgeous. Get outside and enjoy the sun. I know I have been this week, and it's great. So, welcome to tonight's video. I am gonna first start off by giving a trigger warning, because I am gonna be talking about some mental health issues, and if you don't feel emotionally okay to watch this, that's totally fine. That's what the trigger warning is for. But for those of you who are interested, I hope that this helps you and that it answers some questions. So, the first question I have is, why do I do this? Why do I do what I do? Why did I start doing the videos? When I was first diagnosed with CML, I actually wanted to try to do a YouTube channel, but I didn't quite know where to start, and I don't think I fully understood my diagnosis well enough yet. But I knew from the beginning that I wanted to teach about this illness because it's so rare, and now, after joining several groups, it's clear to me that it's not just a disease that people get over the age of 50 anymore. There are a lot of people my age, and younger, who have been and who are getting diagnosed with CML. So my hope is, if I can be open and help people feel better, maybe they'll find an outlet or even, come to me and share their concerns. So my biggest goal with this is to help people realize that they're not alone, that there is a way to connect with people. I didn't even think to look on Facebook for groups for people with CML. I don't know what compelled me to do it one day, but I did, and I'm so grateful I did. And honestly, that's a huge reason why I started doing what I do. And I don't regret it. It's awesome. And I love speaking about my experience. I'm very open. I'll answer pretty much any question. If I find that it's a question that I'm not comfortable with answering over the video, I will at least give an answer directly to the person that asks it. So the biggest question is, somebody asked me this directly: do I ever get tired of being strong for people? Like, putting on a brave face, or just ignoring my frustrations or feelings about it to save others from worrying. I don't know if tired is the right word for me. I personally, I don't like concerning people. I don't like people worrying about me. I'm the type of person that likes to help others, and I know sometimes that can be a big downfall, other than a blessing. But I wouldn't say I get tired of it. This question was actually asked to me because I write in almost every post, do what you think you can't do. I'd love to say I came up with that, but I did not. I actually stole it from a YouTuber that I watch who actually has a completely different chronic illness, but I love the saying, and it's so simple, but it goes a long way. Because there are days where, I really don't want to do anything. I don't want to get out of bed. I'm having joint pain. I'm not feeling good emotionally. And I'm like, oh, it's so much easier just to stay and do nothing. But I know I'm capable of doing whatever I need to or want to do. So it's just a matter of, can I get that strength to get up and make myself do something? And most of the time, I do. And afterwards, I actually feel a lot better. So, but feeling like I need to protect others from feeling any negative way because I am, that's definitely a drawback that I have. I'm not saying that I struggle with this 24/7, but of course there are times, especially lately with my other health issues going on, that I'm concerned, and I do talk to people about it. I'm never truly upset about it. Of course, I do have some moments where I'm like, what is this going to mean for the rest of my life? Is this going to shorten my life if I have another chronic illness? Am I going to have to do all this crazy treatment? There are a lot of questions and variables, but I try to stay positive And how I do that, which is another question that this person asked, is I reach out to people or I journal. I'm better at writing how I feel than verbalizing. So oftentimes I'll write it down in a journal and then I'll verbally read it to somebody, whether it be a friend or my family or just even out loud to myself. And I find that it helps a lot. And that's not just for anybody who has a chronic illness. That's for anybody in general. You know, if you feel like nobody's going to listen to you, you have a pen, you have a paper, all ears, all eyes. But it definitely helps me a lot. And another question that was asked in this group was, how do I handle negative lab results? Like, for example, my PCR going up. I'm a very matter-of-fact type of person. I tend to prepare for the worst. So, while it sounds negative, it's kind of my way of rationalizing things. So, from the beginning, when I came off the chemo in December, I pretty much knew that it was going to come back. I didn't know when, but I just had that gut feeling. And, you know, people would tell me, don't be so negative, like, have hope. It's not that I didn't have hope. It's that this is my illness. I know my body. I understand the illness. And I understand what the doctor is telling me, and that's the most important thing. That's another way to cope with lab results that you don't like, or any other issue, is listen to your team and listen to your provider. Because sometimes we get tunnel vision, even with our ears, and we hear what we want to hear, or hear what we don't want to hear. And a lot of the times, that's the most distressing part, you know? Listening to my doctor say, yes, your numbers went up, but not by a large amount, that's a good thing. Whereas maybe in my brain, if I'm ignoring the doctor and I'm being negative, I would think, oh my god, my numbers went up, I'm screwed. Like, I'm going to be on chemo the rest of my life. So, yes, it's normal to have a reaction to those, but at the same time, you need to find that middle ground where you can rationalize what's going on and feel the emotion that you're feeling. So I was frustrated. Obviously, I don't want to go back on chemo, but at the same time, I was like, okay, you know, I knew this was a possibility, and we'll just do what I need to do, which at this point seems like going back on chemo. I have one more PCR on April 9th. So I think I answered those questions. If not, the person that asked them to me, if they're watching, please let me know. I'll be happy to further explain to you directly. Another question I got that's a little bit out of this topic is, how do I feel about motherhood? A lot of women, you know, are concerned about whether or not they'd be able to get pregnant on their medication, if it's safe, if the illness can be carried genetically. That's the thing. We don't know. I mean, when I was first diagnosed, you know, being a female, I was asked if the possibility of infertility was a concern to me. And obviously at the time, and now, right now, it's not really on my number one concern. Yes, they say that they don't think this is something that can be transferred to, you know, your baby. But personally, I'm a little reluctant. Granted, that's not something that I'm, you know, looking at in my life right now. But I think when the time comes, it'll be a better idea, you know, to talk to your provider or, you know, figure out other ways, because to put it this way, you're not the only woman who wants to get pregnant on TKI. It's possible, and I know where I go at Sloan Kettering, they have so many different people and options to help you, and they'll never want you to feel alone on that journey. So, again, my biggest advice would be reach out to your team. Kind of go back to the mental part of this. Somebody asked me, like, what do I do on my tough days? So, I do have mental illness. I have bipolar disorder, depression, anxiety, and there are definitely days where, you know, they like to kind of gang up on me. You know, most of the time, I think the mental illness plays a role on my physical health, so not the other way around. Like, yes, when I hear bad lab results, I'm frustrated, but that doesn't necessarily trigger the depression, bipolar, etc. It's more or less, if I'm having a bad day mentally, that kind of makes me not want to do anything physically. So, a lot of what I believe in is the mind controls the body. And like I mentioned earlier in the video, if you do what you think you can't do, you're probably going to feel better. I know for me, if I'm not feeling good or I don't really want to do something, I make myself do it anyway. And again, most of the time afterwards, I feel better because I know I've accomplished something. And sometimes that's the greatest feeling ever, and sometimes that's what you need. So again, I hope I answered this individual's questions. If not, please reach out. I'd like to share my last video, got 300 views, so thank you everybody. I am getting my PCR April 9th, and I am doing a nerve conduction study in the middle of April. So hopefully around that time we'll have some more answers about what's going on. Just to refresh, my PCR was 0.09%, which is just under that 1% threshold. 0.1% threshold. So I believe that if I hit that or I go above, I probably will be going back on chemo, but I'll keep everybody posted. And as I always say, do what you think you can't do. Reach out. Any questions, comments, concerns, I'm more than happy to answer. And take care, everybody. Thanks for watching.